Hola, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Reliable Tech for Content Creators. I just got finished showing you a video, a few videos back on the webcam that I'm using. And yes, this is a webcam. I think it looks pretty damn good. It's 4K, it's super compact. I messed with the settings. I was actually messing with them again just to fine tune it to get it to look the way I want it to, right? And lo and behold, then Insta360 drops not one, but two webcams with the same half-inch sensor, 4K capabilities, and it looks like it's a pretty good product. But I feel like the way they are built and the software in those webcams is kind of what makes a difference. The processing, all that kind of stuff, from it looking great or surpassing my expectations like this one did, or looking just like another webcam. So we'll get into it today. I'm going to show you comparisons to my favorite webcam so far to the ones that Insta360 just dropped. And they dropped two. So here we have the Insta360 Link 2 and Link 2C. They put that it's an AI 4K webcam and pro audio. I'm going to give that also a test, a fair shot, as far as because I do it for content creation, which is very hard to use a webcam for content creation, right? I believe a phone does better than 90% of webcams out there. And if you're really deep into this as a professional, you're probably using a mirrorless, a Sony, a Canon, whatever you guys are using. I try to steer clear away from that. I want super simple, easy to learn equipment, but I want the most out of it, right? I want to look professional. And Zoom calls, meetings is another part of that. So audio should be important. I have a Rode microphone that I got. So I have the Rode Pod mic, which is also the USB version. Again, plug and play, easy to use, and I can go into the software, change the settings to it to dial it in. So all that is stuff that I've done. If you're taking Zoom calls, though, you might not want a microphone. You might not set up a microphone. So how is the audio? I'm going to give the OBSBOT another chance because I tried it and then I saw that there was more settings that I didn't get into. So I'm going to compare both cameras. Today I did pick up the Link 2C because I don't need a gimbal. If you guys need a gimbal, get the one with the gimbal so it can track you and all that kind of stuff. Or if you guys want to do the, what is their drop down feature, which I have a second camera for my drop down, but you can also do, let me see if I can find it, a desk view. All right, it took me a while to find it. If you guys are, you have notes, you're teaching, you're doing something where you have all this space on your desk. Like I said, I have a drop down camera dedicated for that, but this would be easier because it's on a gimbal. It just faces down and then it'll adjust the angle to show it flat like it shows on the screen. So if you guys need that tracking or a desk view and you're looking for a decent webcam, that gimbal, the Link 2 is the one you probably would be interested in. But I'm going to show you the 2C. They're identical, just this one does not have the gimbal. So I'm going to, just jump into it. All right, so I was actually looking for a second camera, which I might end up buying a second OBSBOT, but I was going to see if I could use this Insta360 as either the second camera or the primary camera, so we can kind of get an upgrade over this one that I'm using right now. But this is a Link 2C. I've already kind of looked at it. This is the camera itself. It is also pretty compact. I believe this is a touch screen if you guys want to tap or do things with it. I wouldn't need that feature. USB-C on the back, and this part is magnetic. This is the little mount. It's similar to the OBSBOT, to where you just kind of clamp this on the back. You would clamp it like that. This is the magnetic part, which is adjustable. It does go on there magnetically. and you can still use it to drop down and kind of look at the desk view, but it's not going to be automatic like the one with the gimbal. Both have a privacy setting, so the privacy on the gimbal, it just turns itself down and away from recording anything. This one is a manual one. You just kind of close the shutter there. It's really easy to flip open and close, which is really cool. These mounts, like I said, they go on the back of your monitor. So this one, the OBSBOT has the thread built into the actual camera. This one does not. It's just magnetic on the bottom. So you need the mount if you guys are going to use a tripod. There is the threaded part. You would thread that on and then use this to mount it, which is, I mean, it's pretty good. Shouldn't slide off. I still have the sticker on there, but you get the point. I like on the OBSBOT that it's built in. This one you do need the mount, so you need to take it with you. And then you get the instructions, your cable, and I like that they give you an adapter if you guys have a computer that has a USB-A. You get all that in the box. All right, but you guys are here for the comparison, right? So I'm on my OBSBOT 4K camera that I've been using for a lot of my videos and live streams. I just hooked up the Insta360 Link. So let me switch over to that one real quick. Now, not bad. It's also giving a little bit of a blur. I haven't opened the software for it, anything like that. I did download it. The only thing I'm noticing, now mine is tweaked to the color, the exposure, the settings that I want for the look that I'm going for. Out of the box, it looked pretty good. The Link, this is pretty good as well out of the box. The only thing I'm going to do is, or the only thing I'm going to say is it looks like it's processing quite a bit. And that's because I have decent lighting on me. If I go back to the OBSBOT, there is no, I mean, it looks more natural, right? The Link, it looks like it's over sharpening. I can see a lot of pixels and little, you know, detail lost up in the area right here. Even though it's like blurred out, you can see that it looks like a low light issue, which, oh crap, I don't know what these gestures are. Go back. So it is gesture controlled. They both are. Is it tracking? Oh, it's tracking. So it zoomed in to do a AI tracking. Okay, now it's stopped. You can also tap here or double tap on the unit itself. Double tap out. I think we're back to full screen. Okay. So it has touch controls on it. It has gestures. I don't know what the gestures are yet. Okay, so 5 fingers up is the AI tracking. If you want real tracking, you would need the gimbal one. So let's recrop ourselves. So it looks really well out of the box. Now this one looks really dark. Let me play with the software and see if I can get it to look a little more natural, because this is, for one, it's very bright. The details are being lost, and it looks like it's over sharpening. One of my light batteries was running low. That's why it looked dark. Okay, got that fixed. I will say I opened up the software and it looked a little bit better. No. I feel like too much light messes with it. So let's see if we can adjust any of the settings here. Let me get you guys on screen share. So in the bottom corner, that's my OBSBOT. In the screen that you see, that is the Insta360 software. So if we go into it, if it lets me. Okay, so autofocus, I prefer manual. This. right there. That's a really good bokeh effect. I will give it that. I think on my OBSBOT, I don't get that much of a blur. That looks really cool, actually. Okay, so we got our blur in the back, which is very hard for me just in general because I have a wall like a foot away from me. So I'm trying to create a natural depth, look, but with being close to the wall. So that's always a thing that I have to worry about. And webcams, if it has this manual focus feature, I can kind of dial that in and make it look, give it a separation, so to speak. Temperature manual or auto is fine. Exposure. So we can tweak it. It jumps around quite a bit. I think we can tweak it to make it look pretty similar. Which way do I gotta go? Let's go right there. That is not a bad picture whatsoever. Now I did see these are color presets. So you can save these as different profiles, basically. If you guys tune it to a certain setting, and then maybe you go somewhere else. I don't know how to turn off the gestures. If you maybe you take it with you on the go and you want a different profile, you need one for a light room, one for a dark room, one for certain colors, this and that. You can change, or you can add presets in there. So no, it doesn't do one. Try and get out of that. There you go. And then you got they all come with makeup features. Yeah, there's that. We're not messing with that. You can add a portrait, which I think just blurs out and blows out. You got daylight, warmer, vintage. Hey, so you got presets, you got filters in here basically. Just gonna go over a couple of them. You can give your videos or stream a real quick facelift. But we're gonna turn off all that. What's under more? Auto framing, whiteboard. Oh, this is zoom. I can see it blinking. What is the... Okay, it has to blink. Blinked. And then you zoom in. And you zoom out. There you go. So we got the audio modes. I will do a separate clip to do the audio test really quick. Flipping. And then you got specific blur, completely blurred out. See the edging a little bit, and then bokeh. I mean, you can do it manually, but there is a quick setting for that. And then you got intensity. That's pretty neat. So you can leave it. Okay, so on this, I'm actually kind of liking this. On this one, you can autofocus. So like, let's say you need to show something to the audience, right? It'll autofocus and then back to you. You can... Okay, so that's everything's off right now. Autofocus, everything off. So you can see all the detail came back in my background. There is no depth of field there. But on autofocus, you can show something to the camera, remove it, and don't worry about it. Because what I was doing before was doing a manual focus. So I created the blur, but I could not show anything on camera because it would show blurred. So then I would have to remember to turn it off, do what show what I'm going to show, turn it back to manual, and all that. So here you can do auto, and it'll focus on whatever you need it to, and then come back to you. You don't have to worry about it. It doesn't do, from what I can tell, too much hunting. But turn on the bokeh effect. Now you got depth of field, right? Now you can show something, come back to you, and you still get the blur. You don't have to do any settings. I really like that, actually. So at first, I was not too impressed with it. All right. You also have backgrounds. And I thought it would do a better job at cutting out. Now I have a difficult area. Let's see if that helps. I have a difficult area for it to do it in because I have a lot of lighting behind me and a lot of things for it to cut out. And I'm in a dark area with a lot of black stuff on the wall. So there's that. There's different rooms. So if you guys like green screen, but you're gonna need a green screen or a solid color behind you that is not like, you can't be wearing white with a white wall, you know, stuff like that. But man, I am liking this bokeh feature. That might have won me over there. Bokeh feature, and then, you know, hey, you know, check this out. We have the autofocus. Not bad at all. Now let's go into, because I could do it. All right, let's get out of this. Okay, right now I'm on. So the thing with these, if you use the app, obviously I'm trying to use the app to get all the features and settings, color settings, the bokeh effect, all that stuff. Let me see if I can find it. All right, so I let my ADD get the best of me. I went on a tangent about the audio, which we'll get to in a second. My point was, right now I'm on the OBSBOT. I like the cleaner look of this as much as I want to like the 2C, but I mean, you can't go wrong either way. It's just that the OBSBOT is so much cheaper. So I have the Insta360 app open. If you want to use any of the features, which is like the bokeh effect, the virtual background, and I don't know, any little thing that you set in here that's like a filter or anything like that, you need to make sure in your software that you're using to record or live stream that you're using the virtual camera. So sometimes it'll say virtual camera, sometimes it'll say like Insta360 camera, or what does this one say? Right now, when I get back to it, I can see, but up here in the right corner, you got to make sure that virtual camera is on, because it even tells you there after you close, and you have to have the app open. So you need to have the app open, and you need to make sure that you're on the virtual camera in your software for any of these filters or effects to take or to work. So virtual background is active. It tells you open in third-party software, and it's the Insta360 virtual camera. So now if we go, so it is very hard for me to record the screen while it's recording, but basically I'll put up real quick. Each camera that has these features, which are filters and virtual backgrounds, you will have the option, or you should have the option, to pick between just the camera, which is the raw video, or the processed one, which is like all the adjustments you make, or the backgrounds or makeup, smoothing, whatever you do. So make sure you pick the virtual camera if you're trying to apply any of those effects. I am in the OBSBOT, and then I'm going to switch over to the raw camera. It looks like it's a little too processed. You can kind of, I'll have to look at the footage. We'll see how it looks when I upload it to the channel, but right here I'm getting a lot of noise in the darker areas. Other than that, it looks good. Like, my face is a little too sharp on this screen. Okay, I have my virtual setup with the bokeh effect on the Insta360. So let me switch to the virtual camera now. And you can see, and I still see a lot of noise up in this area when it's blurred out still. Other than that, I really do love the look. So it's just, I'll have to see what it looks like again, and then like maybe turn down the brightness. No, that doesn't do much. There with the exposure turned down a little bit, maybe. So that's bokeh and adjustments. This is, it keeps the adjustments, but the bokeh's gone. I don't know. I can't tell. Then we go back to the OBSBOT. That looks just more natural. I know it's a little bit darker, but it feels more natural. I mean, I don't know if it's my monitor. I'll double check. It looks slightly better on the MacBook monitor, but it could just be. I feel like it's just too processed, which I think is weird. I'll dive into it again, but I think it's weird that I don't have a sharpness slider. Now, if you're advanced and you can do that on your own, in your software or other settings, because in mine, and I've used a couple of them, there is no, because I use the software that I use, whether it's this or StreamYard or anything like that, because I have to live stream as well. So I don't use a lot of these other standalone recording softwares. I use something that can stream and record. So the audio that you've been listening to in this clip is going to be from the Insta360 2C camera itself. I do have a ceiling fan on. I am like a foot and a half away from the camera. This is with it on its default voice focus. And if it lets me, we are now on voice suppression, which is to enhance and then suppress any surrounding voices and background noise. The voice focus is just to clean up your voice. And then the other one is more like if you have a lot of loud noises around you, then you would use a suppression. There is a third option, it's a music balance. So I'm assuming it just turns off all the noise canceling. So now we switch to that one. I don't know if you can tell a difference. The only issue with these cameras is they are directly under the ceiling fan, so that's where they would probably struggle, is if you hear that fan noise. So we're on music balance. Now we're on voice focus, so you should be able to hear me pretty clear. And then voice suppression now is if you had a lot of people around, your dogs, things like that. I would assume that's what you would want to use the suppression feature for. So yeah, let me know what you guys think on the audio. I'm gonna go back to the OBSBOT real quick and then go through their modes. Okay, now we're back on the OBSBOT. I just prefer this look. The audio options that we have here is, it's right now it's on automatic gain control, so you should be able to hear, people should be able to hear you without you having to adjust your volume because it's on automatic. Now let's turn on the noise reduction. So we are on noise reduction weak. That's what you're hearing right now. Now we are on noise reduction medium, which is what you're listening to. And then we're going to turn that up. Now we're on noise reduction strong. I don't think there's any other settings in here. Yeah, for audio, that's the only thing you get, is you can have it weak, medium, strong. And now I'm going to completely turn it off. And I don't know if it makes a difference. Like I said, I'm in a room. It's not treated for audio or anything like that. That's why I do have a dedicated microphone that you need to be like right in front of it to get, or I have it set up to, be a little bit more centered on if I'm close enough versus trying to get the whole room, because you're gonna get echoes, dogs barking, all that kind of stuff. So we are on the raw audio of the OBSBOT, and the only thing that would interfere with it, from what I've heard before, like testing it, it would be the ceiling fan. All right, and as a bonus little tidbit, this is what I was using before. If you guys have watched me on my other channels live streaming way back in the day, like earlier this year, last year. This is the webcam I was using. It's the Logitech Brio 4K. It does perfectly fine. I don't think I tweaked it too much, but this is a pretty good option as well. Just, lighting is everything. And since I moved into this area here, the lighting, I'm so close to the neon sign that it's hard to get the right colors. And even then, it's supposed to be blue and it comes off as purple. So it's a whole other issue that I have. Anyway, so I'm going to finish off with this camera. Would I get the Insta360? I need to look at the footage on a TV. So that's another little tip, is the way I edit my content. I have to make sure it looks good on a phone, on a laptop, tablet, and a TV. A lot of our content now is consumed on TVs, on big screens, because every time somebody shares with me, that they're watching one of my YouTube videos from my other channels or the podcast, whatever it is, they're usually watching it on the TV. So I need to evaluate it a little bit further and watch it on the TV when I have the video uploaded and everything. All of these videos where I'm testing cameras, so my iPhone video, my Action 5 Pro video, this video, everything's just raw out of the camera themselves. I'm not putting any filters, any LUTs, anything like that. I'm not even adjusting brightness and contrast, anything like that. So this is all just the way it comes out. You don't have to mess with it. So far, I've enjoyed the OBSBOT, and that is, it is so hard to beat a camera this small, because one of the major points on this one that people were saying, like, oh, it's so small, you can take it with you to go. And I agree, the mount is super simple. You cannot, I know it does vertical video too, but you cannot put it vertical on this thing. So I'm not sure how you would do that. It only goes on one way, whereas the OBSBOT here goes on magnetically. And I believe, yeah, you can put it on in any orientation, except upside down, but put it like that and you can get a vertical video and it mounts. So this one does not do that. This one does. This one is way more compact. If you are traveling with it, it's easy to take. This is also easy to take, but it's a little bit bigger. Also, the Insta360 has no other mounting options other than making sure you have this little thing. Take it in your bag. It's not hard to take, but if you lose it, you're screwed. This is what has the tripod mount. Another thing I really like about this one is that that's built into the bottom. So I can literally just put this on a tripod and leave this little thing on my monitor if I do travel with it, or like what I'm going to do is use it as a secondary drop down camera, because I ordered another one. Again, I can just put it on the tripod that's right here. So yeah, I will say you can't go wrong with any of them. I do like that this one has a physical shutter with the little lever there. I think that's really cool. I think the app is really good. I thought this was kind of cool, but it gets kind of annoying because I don't want to be moving it to put it on and take it off. So in my opinion, the only reason I would recommend the Insta360 is if you get the gimbal option. If you are somebody that is standing while you're recording something, and they can be used to record, to live stream. If you guys are teaching or showing a whiteboard, those options are really cool. OBSBOT has a lot of the same options, so it's not like you need this for those features, but the gimbal one will track you, will move with you. Instead of doing the crop in and like the AI tracking, it'll actually follow you around. The Link 2, which has the gimbal, also will give you that effortless desk view. It does a great job at flattening it out, showing whatever's on your desk, kind of mirroring it up so that it comes out on the screen nicely. And again, that's because it has a gimbal. So a lot of the features that I think are cool in the Insta360 Link 2 is the way to go, because the 2C, if you're buying it just because it's compact, you know, there is a more compact one that has a little bit better image quality. They both have 1/2-inch sensors. I believe it's the same exact sensor, but personally, I like the look of the OBSBOT. So the price is the other thing, right? So Logitech Brio 4K looked great at the time that I bought it a couple years ago, because there was nothing else like it. Right now, I'm looking at myself on the monitor, and I think that's a pretty good image until you compare it to something of this year, which is right now, these two are the best ones, I think. So this is fine, but this was $200, I believe. It's a lot bigger. It is fixed. What I do like about these being magnetic is that you put it on your monitor, and let's say you're not framed right now, I could be more to this side because I have a bunch of dead space right here and I don't have enough of my bookshelf showing, right? So if you have a magnetic mount, you can just tilt it one way or the other. And this one doesn't have the gimbal, but I can still tilt it. And then you have the tilt feature, you know, to tilt it slightly down, slightly back. And then this, I don't know what you call it, this little arm on the bracket. Since you're putting it on a monitor, you can adjust that too, right? You can make it whatever area you need to face it in. So that's why when I'm recording anything here, I have it tilted one way. And then when I do the nights HVAC nights podcast that I do with the other guys, it's a more narrow frame. So I'm trying to frame it more this way, and then I'll just tilt it the other way. So that's a win-win on the magnetic mount, being able to move it, because the Logitech that I have doesn't do that. Just notice that the mic grill is on top. You would think it would be in the front. That's just the LED. They sound identical. This one does have the mics in the front, but to me, they sounded identical. So not good on audio for either one. So I cross out the audio on them. They're good to take calls, but if you want to use them to live stream or do content like this, sit down and talk, get yourself a dedicated mic. So when I started my channel, I was using AirPods. Those are good microphones because they're close to you. Then I upgraded and got DJI wireless mics. You can plug these into the computer with the USB-C adapter and use these as your microphone. That was my next step up. Then I got a cheap dedicated microphone, and then I got this one. I don't know what happened. I lost my audio again as I'm editing this. I realized the clip got mute, but I'm on the OBSBOT again. We're going to end the video real quick. Another option would be if you have a newer MacBook. I have the M3 Pro chip version of the MacBooks that came out. The audio, the microphone quality on these are really good. So if you guys have a MacBook, try it out. Or you can try out any other laptop that you guys have. But I just know that they're designed to have really good audio quality. So this would be another option. If this sounds good, then, you know, take that into account. So yeah, I think the option to go with is, if you're interested in these Insta360 webcams, the one with the gimbal, it's about $200. I think it's $199. You can get it off Amazon. Usually these are cheaper on Amazon, so I will leave the link to all these cameras in the description if you guys want to go check that out. For $199, it's really good if you get the gimbal version. If you want to go, because 2C, the one that I showed in this video, is about $159, around that $150 range, and the OBSBOT is $129. So on Amazon, all those qualify for free shipping. So the price is the price, $129, $159, or $150, and $200. So either go the top end and get the gimbal, or I would suggest the lowest priced of them if you just want a good webcam, because this is the picture that you'll get. Um, I did a little bit of tweaking, but it's not much. So take that into account. I'm going to get into more things after this. These are just videos that I did because stuff was coming out, like the Action 5, the iPhone 16, and then these Insta360 cameras just randomly showed up. Now I'll get into, speaking of audio, I'll get into the podcast setup, my desk setup, the audio, the different types of audio that I've tried, and what'll work for you as a beginner, or if you want to get into actual, I wouldn't say high quality, but good quality microphones, dedicated stuff like that. I will get into all of that. Somebody asked me about the logos. I've been asked about that before, so I'll show you my process in designing stuff, getting it professionally done or to look professional. It does not take a lot to get a lot of this stuff off the ground. So I will get to that very soon. If you guys have any more questions, let me know. I appreciate you guys for checking out the channel. If you enjoyed it, if it helped you, drop a like, leave a comment, remember to subscribe, help the channel grow. See you guys.